Welcome to Sleepless Philosopher. You made it through the day. Now it's time to set it all down. The worries, the lists, the loud thoughts, the soft regrets. Leave them beside you like worn-out shoes at the edge of a quiet temple. This space, this time, it belongs to you. Take a long, slow breath in and let it go. Let your body sink just a little deeper into the bed or couch or floor beneath you. Let your chest become soft, your jaw unhinge gently, your hands fall open. You've arrived, not somewhere new, just somewhere quieter. Tonight we'll wander slowly through the moonlit paths of ancient thought. We're going to ask a very old question, one that's been whispered through stone courtyards, scratched into scrolls, painted on the sides of pottery. What did the Greeks think about love? And what did they make of lust? But first, where are you tuning in from tonight? What time is it? Is it very late or beautifully early? Is your room filled with silence, a distant fan, the soft hush of a city far away? Maybe there's rain against your window, or just the heartbeat of your thoughts. Wherever you are, I'm glad you're here. Now, gently, let's begin. In the ancient Greek world, love wasn't just a feeling. It wasn't just a story told through movies or heartbreak ballads. It was a force, a mystery, a thing worthy of philosophy, of worship, of fear. They didn't have just one word for love. They had many, each word a different colour on the canvas of the soul. Let your thoughts drift, softly, as we explore each one, like stepping stones across a quiet river. First came Eros, the passionate one, the ache in the chest, the flame. Eros is where we get the word erotic, but to the Greeks, he wasn't just lust, he was a god, a wild-winged boy with a mischievous grin and a bow in hand. He didn't ask permission when he aimed his arrow, and when he struck, oh, the world changed. To feel Eros was to be pulled into longing, sometimes without understanding why. You might see someone across a crowded theatre, or hear their voice just once, and something inside you wakes up, not gently, but completely. Eros was desire that burns, desire that unsettles, desire that takes your calm and replaces it with poetry or madness. And yet the Greeks didn't treat this with shame. They knew Eros had power, but they also believed he could open the door to something higher, something sacred. In Plato's Symposium, a quiet and dreamy philosophical dialogue, a group of thinkers gather to speak about love. They speak of how desire, when deeply understood, becomes a ladder. At the bottom, physical beauty. But if you keep climbing, you begin to love minds. Then you begin to love ideas. Then laws. Then knowledge. Then truth. Until finally, you fall in love with beauty itself. Not a person, not a moment, but the form of beauty. The eternal, the perfect, the divine. Eros, then, was the starting spark that could, with guidance, light the path to the soul's enlightenment. But that was only one kind of love. There was also philia, a gentle, enduring affection, friendship, the love of loyalty, the kind of love that grows over years of shared laughter and slow conversations. It doesn't burn like Eros. It hums, it warms, it remains. Philia was prized in the Greek world, especially by Aristotle, who believed friendship was essential to the good life. He didn't mean just casual companionship, he meant the kind of bond where two people see the virtue in each other, where each person helps the other become better, fuller, wiser. He said that to live without friends is to live without life. You might be thinking of someone right now, a person who listens, who sees you, who asks how you're doing, not just when it's easy, but when it matters. That's philia, a love that doesn't ask to be noticed, but whose presence makes the world feel safer. The Greeks honoured this love. They believed it was even greater than romantic love in many cases, because it endured past beauty, past time, past desire. And yet we are still not done with the Greeks' picture of love. Another piece of the puzzle, agape, a divine, unconditional love, the love of gods for mortals, or the love we feel when we expect nothing in return. A giving love, the kind that sacrifices, that stretches across pain, that heals. In the Christian world, agape became the highest form of love, charity, grace, selflessness. But long before that, it whispered through Greek texts as the noblest form of affection, one that doesn't burn or flirt or giggle, it just gives. There was ludus too, a playful love, flirting, dancing, teasing glances exchanged between columns and courtyards. It didn't ask for promises, it just wanted to feel the lightness of being seen. And then pragma, a practical committed love, the kind of love that lives in old age, in shared routines, in silent understanding, in choosing one another, day after day, even after the sparkle fades, maybe especially after. And finally philotia, self-love, not vanity, not arrogance, but the kind of love that says, I matter. The Greeks believed in two forms, one harmful, selfish, and one healthy, balanced, a love that lets you rest, that lets you say no, that lets you offer kindness to yourself without guilt. As you lie there now, breathing slowly, perhaps you can feel pieces of each of these within you. A moment of Eros from a fleeting touch, a memory of philia with a friend now far away, a whisper of agape when you held someone while they cried, a spark of ludus when you laughed with someone new, the depth of pragma in a long quiet partnership, and philotia, the self-love that allows you, tonight, to simply be still. The Greeks didn't see love as perfect. They saw it as essential, messy, complicated, divine, a teacher, and lust. Lust wasn't wrong to them, but it was dangerous, it was wild, it could inspire poetry or war, it could elevate the soul or destroy a city. It depended on how we held it, how we moved with it, how we listened to it. And even now, as your thoughts begin to slow, as your breath begins to soften, as your body begins to give in to gravity's embrace, you are not just falling asleep, you are entering the quiet library of ancient thought, where desire was sacred, where love was many things, and where the soul, in its deepest longings, was never alone. You're doing so well, just breathing, just being. That's all the philosophers ever wanted from us, to live in the moment, to feel without needing to fix, to rest without needing to achieve. And right now, you're practicing that forgotten art, stillness. If part of your mind is still thinking, that's okay. The Greeks didn't expect perfection from the mind, they just wanted honesty. So if your thoughts are drifting, that's good. That's part of the path. Let them float by like clouds over Mount Olympus. Now close your eyes if you haven't already. Let your shoulders fall just a little more. Let your mouth part slightly. And come with me back into the slow hum of ancient time. Picture Athens at twilight, the warm orange light bouncing off white marble, a breeze moving through tall cypress trees. Somewhere nearby, a teacher gathers a few students beneath a fig tree. They're not memorizing, they're wondering, they're asking, why do we love? Why do we long? Why does desire feel so much like pain and joy all at once? One student speaks up. He says, I once thought love was just pleasure, but now I think it's something the soul remembers from another world. The teacher nods and smiles. Another student asks, but why do we sometimes love people who hurt us? There's a long silence, then the teacher replies, because sometimes the soul needs breaking to learn how to feel. You see, for the Greeks, even suffering in love had meaning. They didn't look away from heartbreak, they studied it, they honored it. Take the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice. Orpheus, the greatest musician, whose lyre could charm the trees and the stones. When his wife Eurydice died, he didn't scream, he played, he sang, and his music was so sorrowful, so full of longing, that even the gods wept. He travelled to the underworld, not with a sword, but with a song. And Hades, the god of death, was so moved that he gave Orpheus a chance. He could lead Eurydice back to life, but only if he didn't look back. Can you imagine that? Walking forward, hearing the soft footsteps of your beloved behind you, wanting so desperately to see them, but knowing that if you turn, they'll vanish. And yet he did turn. Right at the end, he looked, and she was lost. Why did he do it? Because love isn't always rational, because the heart sometimes aches louder than the mind, because we are human. The Greeks didn't scorn him, they wept for him, because in Orpheus's story they saw their own. We all look back sometimes, even when we know we shouldn't, but in that myth there's no punishment, just sadness, and music, and memory. Let your breath rise and fall gently as you picture that image. A lone man, standing in the dim light of the underworld, a lyre in his hand, a tear in his eye, and a love that never truly left him. It's okay to miss someone. The Greeks would tell you that longing is not weakness, it is a kind of praise. It means the love was real. Now slowly float with me to another story, a quieter one. There was once a woman named Diotima, a priestess, a philosopher, a teacher of Socrates. Yes, a woman taught the man the world remembers as the father of philosophy. She spoke not in loud declarations, but in slow questions. And she said that love was a journey, not of the body, but of the soul, a journey from the physical to the eternal. She told Socrates, when you first fall in love, it's the beauty of a person that draws you, but stay there, look deeper, and soon you'll see beauty in many, then in minds, then in laws, then in knowledge, then in the very essence of beauty. Can you imagine love, not just as desire, but as a staircase, each step, a new way of seeing the world, each longing, a lesson? That's how the Greeks understood love, not as a thing to be tamed, but as a force to be guided, not as a weakness, but as a map to the divine. So breathe with me now, in and out. Let that idea settle in your chest like a feather. The idea that every ache you've ever felt for someone, every secret wish, every sweet memory that still stings, was never foolish. It was sacred. It was you, reaching for something beyond words, something older than time. The Greeks also had rituals. They didn't just think about love, they practiced it, in festivals, in offerings, in quiet gestures under moonlight. They would make offerings to Aphrodite, goddess of love, rose petals, honey, wine, and sometimes just whispered wishes in the dark. They believed that to love was to invite the divine into your life, but also to surrender, because love never comes on command. It arrives like a breeze, unexpected, uncontrollable, and then it changes everything. Sometimes it leaves just as silently, and still they did not curse it. They bowed their heads, they lit candles, they remembered. Let's pause here just for a moment. Let everything go quiet inside you. No need to follow every word now. You can just listen, or drift. You're not doing anything wrong if sleep is gently approaching. It's part of the experience, part of the philosophy. In the next part, we'll explore how the Greeks saw the difference between love and lust. Not with judgment, but with curiosity. We'll talk about beauty, temptation, restraint, and the strange, wonderful ways we try to make sense of the feelings that shake us. But for now, you can simply be. You are here, and that is enough. Let the warmth of the stories stay with you. Let your thoughts dissolve like smoke rising from a temple altar. You don't need to remember everything, you just need to rest, and the wisdom will stay. You are safe, you are worthy of love, and you are never alone in your longing. Others have walked this path, and tonight their footsteps echo softly beside you. You're doing just fine. Your body is heavy, your thoughts are lighter, and this time, here with me, is not meant to change you, only to carry you. We've been walking through old marble halls, haven't we? Stepping quietly behind philosophers and poets, letting the air of another world soothe the edges of this one. Now let's return, not to the beginning, but to the pulse, to the undercurrent of it all, desire. The Greeks did not hate it, they did not shame it, but they feared it, gently, wisely, because they knew it could lift a soul or unravel it. They knew that love, when left wild, could become obsession, that longing, when unspoken, could turn to ruin, but also that desire was part of what made us human, part of what kept us soft, part of what reminded us we are alive. They spoke of Eros not just as love, but as lack, as the space between what we have and what we want. Plato said that Eros is the child of Poros, the spirit of resourcefulness, and Penia, the spirit of poverty. Desire, he believed, is born out of both hope and hunger. We long for what we do not have, and in that longing we create beauty. We write poems, we paint, we travel, we search. Close your eyes now. Let that thought sit in you gently, like a still lake. What have you longed for? What absence has shaped you? What unnamed desire has quietly written stories on the walls of your soul? You don't have to answer. Just breathe. And know the Greeks would have honored your silence. They believed that what we want tells us who we are, but also what we are becoming. Now let's talk about sophrosina. Such a soft word. It means temperance, balance, grace, the ability to feel desire and not be ruled by it, to drink the wine but not drown in it, to love but not lose yourself. This was the great virtue the Greeks held close. Not coldness, not denial, but restraint in motion, harmony. They told stories of people who lost that harmony, like Phaedra, who fell in love with her stepson and was consumed by it, or Paris, who stole Helen and ignited a war, or even gods like Zeus, whose endless desires caused chaos and pain. They weren't condemning desire, they were warning us. If you don't know yourself, your longing can take you places, your soul isn't ready to go. So they taught, know thyself, understand your hunger, be kind to it, but don't feed it blindly, just feel it, hold it, let it shape you quietly. Now take a breath with me, a slow one, in and out. Let's return to beauty now, because the Greeks, they loved beauty, not just in bodies, but in symmetry, in truth, in form, in structure. They believed beauty was a kind of truth, that when you looked at someone beautiful, what you were really seeing was a glimpse of something eternal. Plato said that a truly beautiful soul was rarer and more powerful than any face, that real love, the deep kind, could only happen when two souls recognized each other. That recognition, they called it anamnesis, not discovery, but remembering, as if the soul already knew, already loved, already waited. Perhaps that's why you felt drawn to certain people, without knowing why, because the Greeks believed you do know why, you just forgot. And now, the love returns like an echo, like a dream you had long ago, like something old coming home. So if there's someone you miss, or someone you loved briefly but deeply, it's okay. You didn't imagine it, you remembered it. Let that thought hold you now, like a soft blanket across the chest. No need to analyze, just feel the truth in your bones. There is one more thing the Greeks spoke of, Thanatos and Eros, the two great forces, death and love. Some said they were opposites, others that they were twins, because both ask us to surrender, to let go of control, to fall into something unknown. But Eros is the surrender that creates, that breathes, that writes poetry on your skin, that dances in candlelight and whispers in silence. And Thanatos, the surrender that empties, that makes space, that reminds us to be grateful for every touch, every kiss, every kind word, because it all ends, and in that ending there is sacredness. So love while you can, the Greeks would say, desire without shame, hold others with gentleness, and let them go too when you must, with grace, with tears, with memory. You are not broken for feeling deeply, you are alive, and that is enough. Sleep now. If the words are fading, let them. Your body knows how to rest, your soul knows how to remember. Your eyelids might be heavier now. Or maybe you're halfway between dreaming and remembering. That's okay, that's exactly where you're meant to be. We've walked through marble cities and silent courtyards. We've listened to philosophers and priests, goddesses and ghosts, all telling us the same quiet truth, that to love, to long, to feel desire rising like a tide in the body, that is no weakness, it is a song, a ritual, a thread connecting us across time. Let's visit one final story, a tale told in soft voices around old fires, the myth of Psyche and Eros. Psyche was a mortal woman, so beautiful that people worshipped her instead of Aphrodite. Jealous, the goddess sent her son Eros, love himself, to make Psyche fall in love with something monstrous. But when Eros saw her, he did something strange. He fell in love. He took her away to a hidden palace. He gave her comfort, warmth, everything, except his face. He visited her only in darkness, whispering love in the night, but she was never allowed to see him. For a time she was content, but curiosity grew. She wanted to know who he was, to see the one she loved. So one night she lit a lamp while he slept, and saw not a monster, but beauty beyond imagining. Yet the moment the light touched him, he awoke, he vanished, because love demands trust, and trust once broken can't always be mended quickly. Psyche wandered the earth, suffered, served, learned, changed. She faced trials, sorting seeds, gathering golden wool, descending into the underworld itself, and finally, after all the pain and growth, she was made immortal. She was reunited with Eros, and this time she had earned her place in his world. Not as a mystery, not as a guest, but as an equal. This is what the Greeks believed about love. It begins in darkness. It asks us to trust what we can't see, and when we break it, as we often do, it invites us to grow, to become. Love is not easy, it is not always gentle, but it is the fire that transforms us. You see, for the Greeks, love was a divine madness, a holy confusion, a sacred breaking, and a hopeful mending. It was art and ache, risk and reward, flesh and spirit, a contradiction we live with again and again. So wherever you are now, whether you've been loved deeply or left quietly, whether your heart is full or still healing, know this: you are part of something ancient, a long line of dreamers and lovers, philosophers and poets, who all sat where you now sit, in silence, in wonder, asking, what is this feeling? Why does it move me? And will it ever leave me whole? The answer perhaps is no, not completely, but maybe that's the beauty of it, that we are never truly finished, that even in love we remain students. So take this night for yourself, not to fix, not to understand, but simply to rest. Let the teachings of the old world settle into you, not like facts, but like feathers, soft, weightless, woven through your breath. You are enough, even in your longing, even in your loneliness, even when your heart aches in the quiet. The Greeks would sit beside you now and say, feel it, let it shape you, then rise, when you're ready, and love again. You don't need to remember all these words. Let your mind drift now, sink deeper, let the body surrender to rest. Tonight, you've studied without effort, you've travelled without moving, you've learnt the secrets of those who came before you, and they are still echoing in your heart. Let them echo, let them fade, let them turn into sleep. You are safe, you are worthy, you are loved, even if only by the stars above. Good night, traveller, sleep deeply, and if you dream, may it be of gardens in Athens, of gentle laughter under olive trees, and of a love that needs no name. Sleep now, sleep well, and when morning comes, you'll rise with ancient wisdom, wrapped in the soft glow of everything you've felt. I'll see you again soon, but for now, just rest. Good night.